Hey everyone, I'm Robert,
And I'm Henry.
and we're just two guys 2026.
Today we're going to be talking about the NFC East. I am excited today to talk about previewing the NFC East with our resident guru and football genius, Robert J. Mendenhall here. We're going to be ranking the offense, the defense. Robert will also be talking about the single most significant player in the division, both on offense and defense. So I'm super excited to get rolling. I hope you are too. Let's do it. What do we got, my friend? This is so exciting, isn't it?
Well, welcome to our NFC East review, preseason review. We're going to go over offense, ranking the offenses, then ranking the defenses. And I'm going to give you at the end of our show the one most significant NFC East offensive player and the one most significant defensive player of the division. So let's get started.
Let's do it.
Offense. We are going to begin today with offense. And I will say that on offense, the Dallas Cowboys have the most significant offense in the NFC East. I believe some of the rankings that have come out have agreed with my assessment that I do believe they have the best bookends at wide receiver in the NFL with George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb when 100% healthy. We all know that Dak Prescott runs that offense like the back of his hand. Their problems come in the playoffs. So, and that running game and a healthy offensive line that has always been steady for the last 5 to 6 years. I don't see that changing.
Yeah, they've been rock solid.
They've been rock solid. So I really rank the Dallas Cowboys as the best offense in the NFC East.
All right. Cowboys, you heard it here. Now, we're going to segue into the Eagles. You know, Jalen Hurts, say what you say about him. You like him, you hate him. He did win a Super Bowl. I think they're going to be a team to be reckoned with. Robert, what do you think?
So in the NFC East, I think that the Eagles have the second best offense in the division, but it all revolves around Saquon Barkley. If Saquon Barkley has a successful season like he did in 2024, he doesn't need 2,000 yards, but he definitely needs more than 1,100 yards. So if Barkley is somewhere in the middle, I believe the Eagles will have a very significant offense. I don't have faith in Jalen Hurts. I don't believe that he could carry a team and throw for 450 yards and 5 touchdowns and win a game. That's not who he is. He feeds off of play action. He feeds off of a healthy running game. And he also feeds off of a defense that puts the team in position to score easily. This is where Jalen Hurts succeeds. So if you keep the game out of his hands as a whole and let that running game and play action game come into pass, then the Eagles have a potent offense. And if Barkley can get back to his form in 24 and the coaches play call that, I think the Eagles have the second most significant offense in the NFC East.
Okay. I just want to say something about Jalen Hurts. I know we love to bash him, but he is a good escape artist. When things start to cave down around him, he's able to break out, find the open man, get to him, or run for the first time himself.
So I'm not criticizing his athleticism. I'm criticizing that he makes mistakes in the most important parts of the game. The first Super Bowl against the Kansas City Chiefs, they should have won. Now he fumbles at the 2-yard line, game over. And even in the Super Bowl they won, he had a wide open A.J. Brown, threw the ball too late, and it was picked off. So
that's legitimate criticism.
And I've seen many times when he plays Washington, he throws 2 interceptions and fumbles like every game, like clockwork. The Eagle fans are going to be really pissed off about that, but it is what it is. Jalen Hurts is a great quarterback. But again, the success of his offensive line and running game is what predicts what Jalen Hurts is going to be in the game. And also a significant question mark right now, Jalen Hurts crutched on A.J. Brown a lot. It was his safety valve, his comfort zone, whether it was deep pass, short pass, whatever. And without A.J. Brown, I think there'll be a slight adjustment period because he has worked well with Devonta Smith, actually sometimes even more better in my view. So we'll see how long that takes.
We'll see
sort
how-
itself
see how
out.
he
They did
adjusts.
draft Makai Lemon.
Yeah.
I that judgment is out. He is a talented player, but there's other things I question. But right now, I have the Eagles as the number 2 ranked offense in the NFC East.
Now, let's hope that Hurts throws some more interceptions and fumbles, because when they play the Washington Redskins, aka Commanders, we want to see our team win, which we're going to be talking about right now. Correct?
Yes. So before the Stephon Diggs trade, and even with the Laramie Tunsil news of him being out the entire season,
That is
I
disturbing, but
still rank Washington. Actually, I moved them up one position. I had them last. But I think the addition of Stephon Diggs creates tremendous mismatches on offense for a defense. So I believe that Washington will manage the offensive line to help Jaden Daniels be successful in the passing game from the pocket. This is what Blau has wanted to do, Washington's offensive coordinator. Take the risk out of him getting injured and keep him in a pocket, and the offense will be derived from that. That's not to say there'll be some RPOs and some quarterback runs, but I think most will be designed for him to pass. And if he runs, it'll be because everything else breaks down.
let me say this.
Not designed running.
With the addition of Diggs, now, do you think that the Commanders, aka Skins, have the second best receiving core in the NFC East?
They do.
You would say yes.
I would say yes.
Okay.
Absolutely, because they're proven. With the Philadelphia Eagles, you have Devonta Smith that's proven, and your rookie Malachi Lemon. So that's yet to be decided as to how good that duo will be. The New York Giants have Malik Neighbors as their big play wide receiver. Everything else kind of falls into place. So
he's the only one.
And also, you have to understand, with the Harbaugh effect, passing will not become a primary in that offense. Harbaugh will run that team into the ground, but we'll get to the Giants next.
Right.
So right now, I have Washington as the number 3 offense in the NFC East. And so when you look at this lineup, you have Jaden Daniels at quarterback, Stephon Diggs, Terry McLaurin. You could have Antonio Williams in the slot, and Bill Krosky Merritt running from behind, and we all running the game. And he had a great season last year with minimal carries. And I also wanted to point this out. Washington's offense will hinge on their offensive line play. And what I mean by that is Laramie Tunsil's loss is huge. But everybody forgets that Brandon Coleman, as a rookie,
that's right,
played left tackle when the Washington Commanders made their NFC Championship run.
That's right.
So these negative so-called professionals and experts, you know what? I need to be on that show and put everyone in their place. Brandon Coleman has been slept on and overlooked, partly because of his own playing abilities and his effort, but his potential is beyond. It's a high cap for his potential. So I will wait and see, and that's why the Commanders, aka Washington Redskins, have not gone on to the free agent market to find a left tackle, and there is one, but they have not done that because they're giving it to Brandon Coleman. Okay. They're going to run with it, and so when you have what creates Washington's offense moving up to 3 for me in the NFC East is you can't double team Diggs and you can't double team Terry McLaurin. Then you also have Chig Okongwu. We're forgetting about him. He was vastly underused in Tennessee.
Now, he is
grossly underused.
He is our number 1 tight end.
He's our number 1 pass catching tight end. John Bates is our number 1 blocking tight end, and Ben Sinnott can fill in where needed. And Yankoff is a special teamer and does some blocking for the offense. But Chig Okongwu and all 3 of them, because you can't cheat a safety up to try to stop Chig, and you can't cheat a safety up if you have Stephon Diggs and McLaurin on the field together. So the offensive line is key. Making holes for Bill, for Rashad White, for Jeremy McNichols, for Katron Allen, a.k.a. Fat Man, who was drafted this year, number 6 in the 6th round for Penn State, who's a bowling ball, and he actually owns Penn State's rushing yards record, and he had 16 touchdowns
Don't
last year.
forget that.
No one's talking about this.
Don't forget that.
So, again, my point is Washington last year, as crappy as they were, okay, as bad as they were, rushed for 2,290 yards.
Think about
Number 4 in the NFL.
4. Think about
And that was with an injury-riddled offensive line, an injury-riddled offense period, and they managed to be number 4 in the NFL. Okay?
That's amazing.
That is actually very amazing to
That
me.
is amazing.
So Washington is the 3rd best offense in the NFC East.
Now that takes us to Harbaugh and the New York Giants, or they used to say the New York Football Giants.
The New York Football Giants. So I'm just going to throw this out there right now as far as the preseason prediction of the division champion. I'm shocking everybody. I'm picking the New York Giants. And I've said that before, and I'm saying it again.
Let me get this straight. You're picking the
I'm picking
Giants.
the New York Giants.
Okay.
So the Harbaugh effect. A lot of things are going to change in New York. First will be New York's attitude on the field. They will not be pushovers. They will be aggressive. The run game will be featured. The passing game will take a second seat to the running game. And with Scadaboo and Tracy, by running by committee, you have flashes of bang and lightning back in the Tiki Barber.
The thunder and lightning combo.
Yes.
Right.
So, like Washington in 2024, no one expected Washington to win the division. I think them boys were predicted to win the division. We all saw how that turned out. So I believe because of Harbaugh, because of their magnificence in the draft, which landed them the number 10 pick in offensive tackle, left tackle, Francis Mauigoa, with the pieces they have in place, with Harbaugh's coaching and his tough style of coaching. Already players have come out publicly on social media and in the media as to how difficult this training camp has been. This will all translate to what I believe will be a successful NFC East division title for the New York Giants.
That's a bold prediction. I want you to know.
It is, but 2024, new coach, new GM, and new owner. Of course, Giants don't have a new owner, but they have a brand new coach, and the guy knows how to coach.
He does.
And I really believe the Giants will win this division. After that, though, I don't see anything further than that. I see them hosting a first-round playoff game and losing.
So they're going to get in, but
they're going to get booted.
Booted.
There's too much depth in the NFC right now, and there are clearly 3 teams that are heads above everybody else. So
that's true.
It's going to be tough. So right now, offensively, I have Dallas number 1 with the best bookend wide receiver talent in the NFL. I have the Philadelphia Eagles as the number 2 in the NFC East, with running behind Saquon Barkley and play action with Jalen Hurts. And then I have the Washington Commanders Redskins at number 3, with the addition of Stephon Diggs. I move them up 1, regardless of the subtraction of Laramie Tunsil on the line, because Brandon Coleman manned that position during their NFC Championship run in 2024. I have Washington number 3, and finishing up, I have the Giants at number 4.
Even though at number 4, you predict them to be the champs for the NFC.
If you remember when the New York football Giants were dominant in the 90s, their offense was mediocre.
Under Bill Parcells.
Their offenses were always mediocre. They had games where they were impactful, but you never saw them, a quarterback, Phil Simms or Jeff Rutledge or anyone behind there passing for 400 yards consistently and winning games through the air. It was always a defensive bludgeon battle. It was a trench battle. It was running and forcing their will on opposing teams. And I see that coming back. You don't need to have the best offense to win in the NFL.
That's true.
But you do need the best and a tough defense to succeed in the NFL. And that's where the Giants' positive is, which we'll get into shortly.
Now, I want to talk to you. Yeah, we've talked a lot, but we still have to discuss the most significant player in the division, which we've discussed, and I'd like you to share.
I'm going to do that at the end.
You're gonna tell us at the
I'm
end.
going to give that to you at the end.
Okay, so we gotta wait.
You got to wait.
Build up that tension. Build up that excitement. So we're gonna transition to what now?
Defense.
Defense. Very good.
Defense wins you championships.
Well, everyone says that.
Defense wins you
And
championships.
it's true.
So this is a little tough for me.
Tough.
Because the Dallas Cowboys have the potential to become special on defense. And let me finish with that. I'm not saying that they're number one just yet. They've already been anointed by the so-called professionals as a Super Bowl contender, which is absolutely asinine. Let me just finish this thought here.
Bull hockey.
We'll finish this thought. How do you come from the worst defense and you haven't played one snap since, and you're being anointed?
Makes no sense.
Makes no sense to me.
No sense.
All right. So let's get back to what. So I'm going right now with the Philadelphia Eagles. With the best defense in the NFC East. And this all predicates on the one player on that team that can change a game all by himself. And that's Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter in their Super Bowl run was unblockable. The Philadelphia Eagles got to the quarterback with 4 defensive linemen, which gave them optimum coverage against the run, optimum coverage against the short pass, and optimum coverage for the long ball.
A master of disruption.
So he took on double teams and triple teams. He took on tight ends, running backs, along with the tackle. Devastated, just destroyed everything. To me, he was their Super Bowl MVP, not Jalen Hurts. The Eagles, at number one, in my opinion, in the defense in the NFC East, it's all around Jalen Carter. If Jalen Carter and that front 4 can get through without having to blitz, without having to have another down lineman to put pressure, the Eagles, you play right into the Eagles' hands to Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean on their corners. But if you get them blocked, the Eagles are beatable on defense if you block 4, if you block 5, and you don't allow pressures with 4 and 5. You force them to blitz. Now you have the Eagles in position to give up big plays because Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean did exactly that against Washington at home in their 24 run for the NFC Championship game, where even though there were 5 turnovers, Daniel ripped apart that offense because they were able to block and contain Jalen Carter. So to me, this defense is all predicated around Jalen Carter. If he's successful, keeps his head out of his ass and his attitude in check and focuses in the game, he can single-handedly destroy any offensive line.
Yeah, no spitting on players.
And no spitting on players. And no running over people and murdering them while you're in college. Anyway, that's all hearsay. I'm just being a smart ass. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Sorry, Jalen. Anyway, the Eagles are the number one defense in the NFC East.
All right. Well, we've talked number one defense. We talked number one offense. What's coming up next? Who's number 2?
All right. So I'm going to go with the New York Giants. New York Giants. Their front 7 is stellar with Brian Burns, with Arvell Reese, with Abdul Carter. They should have no problem with defending the pass and pass rush because of this pass rush. Abdul Carter might be the only one who doesn't play every down, but I do feel like Arvell Reese will be playing every down. And Brian Burns at the defensive end position will playing every down. Abdul Carter sometimes can get overmatched on the edge in the run game. If they have him as a blitzing linebacker, I think they'll do that in a 3-4 setting. But the Giants have the capability of having a dynamic pass rush. And I do believe that plays into Harbaugh's part of his equation in a successful defense. And
Well, he is. Let's be honest. He is a defensive
a
mastermind.
yes, he is a defensive guru, and
Right.
wherever he's been, the defenses have been stellar, if not spectacular.
That's right, and
So,
that's
especially in San Francisco,
and that's his thing.
That's his thing.
That's his thing.
So right now, I have the Giants at number 2 in the NFC East. And remember, they drafted Arvell Reese as a rookie, so it's going to be there's 2 stellar linebackers in the NFC East that were drafted, and one was Arvell Reese. We'll get to the other one shortly.
All right, now where are we going with this? We got Dallas 1. We got Giants 2. Does that bring our team number 3?
No, we have the Eagles at number 1 and the Giants at number 2. We're going to number 3 now.
Does that bring our team in at number 3?
No.
No. So we're going to go with who at number 3?
We're going with the Dallas Cowboys. And it comes with a big asterisk. And I know all the Cowboy fans who end up watching this might be messaging me and emailing and complaining about this. Sit down. Okay? Let me handle this. The Dallas Cowboys, with the so-called experts,
we've talked about
Jason McCourty, right. Stephen A. Smith, Dan Orlovsky, a lot of these people who think they just anointed the Dallas Cowboys to be a Super Bowl contender. I'm pretty tired of the media sleeping with the Cowboys organization. I'm really tired of it. Okay.
Why? I want to know.
The Dallas Cowboys.
Why are you always anointing them?
Right now is this.
It's a blank piece of
paper. And right now, until we see what's going to happen on the field defensively, sorry, Dallas. Until I see 5 games, what your defense can do in 5 games, then come talk to me. Right now, you are 3rd in this division behind the Giants and the Eagles. I don't even need to get into it.
We're not going to.
It is what it is. You don't like it. I don't care. But how do you give someone their defense is going to be spectacular when they haven't played 1 down with the current defense?
Not a single
and
down.
They were the worst last year in points and yards allowed.
People forget that. People forget that they were the worst.
All those so-called experts. Time for me to get on ESPN and get their asses out of
there. Okay, so that leaves us with our team, right? Let's talk about the Commanders, aka the Skins.
So at number 4 in the division in defense is the Washington Redskins, aka Commanders. I will say this. If Oduwe Owe made Laramie Tunsil's triceps rip, we're in for a special season. So, remember, Washington was actually, I don't think, even as worse as the Cowboys were on defense last year. Really? But they were pretty bad. Washington had no pass rush whatsoever. They were decimated by injuries.
Really bad.
So they belong at last in the division for right now. But I think the Washington Commanders have the highest ceiling. With all of the players that they brought, Charles Omenihu, Oduwe Owe, K'Lavon Chason, Leo Chenal, they drafted Sonny Styles. They got Rasul Douglas from free agent, who is a pretty badass number 2 corner or slot corner or number 3 corner. And they also picked, in the offseason hired Durante Jones, who's a direct descendant of Peter Flores' defenses in Minnesota. So Washington is going to be aggressive, physical, play with an edge, with a little bit of chip on their shoulder, and with a lot to prove. So
they need to.
Another thing too, Washington has been so scrutinized in their secondary. Okay. I don't get these so-called professionals who don't understand that Washington has a huge upside with their new vaunted pass rush and their new defensive coordinator. We all know when you have a pass rush that doesn't allow a quarterback more than 2 seconds to pass, you're winning most of those plays, whether it's an incomplete pass, a sack, a pressure, or a throwaway, or an incomplete pass. And Washington, right now, I can't say that they will do that, but by everyone they drafted. Again, what did I say about the Cowboys? It's still paper. So even my beloved Washington Commanders, until we see something 5 games after the season, then I can go and give you more in-depth about what their defense is all about. But there is a tremendous ceiling for this team. A tremendous ceiling for this team. With all of their free agent speed, they increased their speed. Their youth has come down. They are now one of the youngest teams in the league.
And no one's talking about it.
And nobody wants to talk about it.
No one's talking about it.
And so
why? I
I
want to know why.
tired of it. I'm sick of the media sleeping with the Cowboys. And I'm sick of hearing them boys. Okay. We don't know anything about them until 5 games into the season, as well as the Washington's defense. Until 5 games into the season, I will reevaluate then. But right now, until there's some statistical backing to these claims, I can't give the Cowboys a high grade, and I can't give Washington a high grade. And Washington is 4th in the division in defense.
We will wait and we will see what's what. So that's part of the excitement, right? Getting into the season. Like Robert said here, 5 games, I think would be something that we can even further evaluate everything on. And that brings me to the next, and one of the things we have been talking about, the single most significant player in the NFC East division. And he's got his opinion, and I have mine, and let's see if we both have the same player. Robert?
So my single most significant player in the NFC East is Jaden Daniels. Sorry, Dallas. Sorry, Philly. And yeah, New York, you don't have anything to be sorry about because you don't have anyone the caliber of Jaden Daniels. And Jackson Dart is no Jaden Daniels. That doesn't mean they can't be successful. But Jaden Daniels has the most single significant possible impact in the NFC East. If he has a magical season like he had in 2024, if Washington blocks better, if Washington does a lot of different things, Jaden Daniels has the ability to single-handedly win a game on his own.
He's proven that.
He's proven that, okay? He has more success in the playoffs than Dak Prescott has ever.
Think about that.
Think about that. As
Think
a rookie,
about that.
2 playoff victories. I don't think Dak Prescott has 1.
2.
So I also might get a lot of flack from Eagle fans who think Jalen Hurts is better than Jaden Daniels.
No.
Jaden Daniels could take this division over and carry this team to a division title. That has yet to be seen, but we have seen him carry this team to a division title and an NFC East championship loss. So Jaden Daniels is my one most significant player in the NFC East on offense.
And I couldn't agree with you more. Could not agree with you more. Now we're going to roll into defense. Now, this is going to be interesting. What are you thinking about defense?
So,
a lot.
It is
a lot of possibilities.
My one most significant player in the NFC East, and I have been on his bandwagon since he was drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles.
I can know who it is.
Jalen Carter. The Eagles can have a defense that only rushes 4, giving them optimum defense against the run, optimum defense against the short game, optimum defense against play action in the deep game. The Eagles have Jalen Carter at his best. He is the single most impactful defensive player in the NFC East. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say the NFL. And let me tell you why.
What?
Jalen Carter has the ability to wreak havoc along the defensive front line. 3, he beats triple teams, double teams, and one-on-ones. And so what that does, it creates pressure with 4. So players then can move up and stop the run, allowing the linebackers to make more plays, allowing linebackers to make sacks. And then falls right into Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell's hands. When Jalen Carter and the Philadelphia Eagles faced the Washington Commanders 2 years in the NFC Championship game, Jaden Daniels was running for his life. Cooper DeJean had 2 interceptions and 1 return for a touchdown. This is why it's all about Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter creates those wonderful statistics for these players, like Cooper DeJean in the NFC Championship game against Washington. 2 interceptions and 1 return for a touchdown. It's because of Jalen Carter. Because Jalen Carter was in the face of Daniels, was breaking down that offensive line by himself. So
He's a master disruptor. There's no question about
Jalen
that.
Carter, I think the Eagles defense is predicated on him and their success and as far as they can go because he has that ability to change a game. And offensively, Jaden Daniels has the ability to do the same thing offensively with less because of his talent. Those are my 2 most significant players in the NFC East. If Jaden Daniels has a spectacular season, he will be in the MVP conversation. And if the Philadelphia Eagles defense has a spectacular season, Defensive Player of the Year, Jalen Carter will be in that conversation.
I can see that. I can see all of that. And there's no question that he is a monster disruptor. He's in everyone's face, and his quickness. He's incredibly quick and decisive when he makes a move.
So I wanted to elaborate on my New York Giant prediction for the NFC East Championship.
Well, take us there.
I'm going to still stick with the New York Giants, but the Eagles, Cowboys, and Washington all have tremendous question marks. Dallas's question mark is your defense is on paper. We haven't seen it on the field. Same with the Washington Commanders. Their defense is on paper. Now, we have seen Frankie Louvu and Daron Payne be very successful in the past. Now they're playing their natural positions. We might see a better play from them. So Washington's defense, again, has a high ceiling as much as their offense. If Washington pass rush vaults from the worst to top 5,
that's significant.
Then Washington likely will be a playoff contender. I only think there's a division champion coming out of here, and that's the New York Giants, in my opinion, as of now. There will not be a wild card out of the division, but there possibly could be. But that's yet to be decided. I think the Eagles, Washington, and the Cowboys could surprise us.
Well, you heard it here first. Bold prediction by the guru, New York Giants, NFC East champs. I don't know. It remains to be seen.
It's not a popular pick, but I'm not picking it because I'm a Giant fan, obviously. I'm picking it because it makes the most sense when you sit down and you objectively look at everything as a whole. The coaching effect of John Harbaugh, I think you're stepping on her toe, and the coaching effect of Harbaugh and his physicality in the running game suits right into what the NFC East is all about. And if you run the ball, you take time away, you keep Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts, and Dak Prescott off the field. And I think the New York Giants have the best offense to do that.
Well, we will see.
So we will see, but I'm taking the New York Giants as the division champions, and the other 3, it's a question mark for me right now because of those intangibles. You can't anoint Dallas shit because they haven't done anything. Washington was horrible last year. You can't anoint them anything until we see what they are on the field.
And at least 5 games.
5 games is what I'm calling. We'll revise this later in the season. Second of all, the Philadelphia Eagles have had so much change, and there is internal turmoil. I don't care what the Eagle fans want to tell me. Nick Sirianni is not liked. You haven't kept an offensive coordinator or a defensive coordinator since he was coach. The only season that makes sense was when they won the Super Bowl and the rest of the NFL wanted to pillage their coordinators. Other than that, 1 season under Sirianni, and they're sick of it. Another thing, Jalen Hurts is now getting a lot of media attention, that a lot of pressure is on him, and it's justified. It's about time that he steps up, and we talk about why the Eagles are even better because he's now better. We have yet to do that. So there's tons of question marks there. And when you look at the Cowboys, you're anointed nothing because you're just paper, okay? There's nothing in the books that says you are a top 3 defense and now a Super Bowl contender.
So stop anointing them.
So stop with the nonsense. Just stop. I love my Washington Redskins Commanders, but I'm not giving them any credit until it's on paper.
We're being honest about the Commanders. Be honest about the Cowboys.
So right now,
be honest about it. We don't know. Nobody knows.
Right now, the New York Giants are my pick to win the division. And that's it.
Well, we will see what happens. It's exciting. Like I said, I'm super excited to see how things transpire here moving forward. We're going to be doing more shows. We're going to be talking about this. There's some different divisions. The entire NFL, both the AFC, NFC, all the divisions within both of those conferences.
We'll be rating them just like this. We'll be doing quicker though with less in-depth analysis because I focus on the NFC East.
That's our baby.
That's
We're
our
NFC
baby.
East.
We dissect the NFC East, but I will go into detail briefly and give you all of the rankings for every division
There are
and my division
a
champions.
lot of exciting teams in the NFC.
Yeah.
You know, Rams just to mention one, and I'm super excited to see what they do as well. But tune in, and I tell you, this has been enlightening for me. I hope it has for you. And like we always say, please watch, subscribe,
and come
grow with us.